Welcome everybody to our first live stream on the channel. My name is Kevin from the KO podcast. Today we have Octavio Ceguera once again. He is back here to talk some sports with us, talk about the NBA returning, the MLB season in jeopardy, and much, much more.
Hi, how's it going, Kevin? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. Okay, we're going to start with
Wait,
the
wait,
first
wait,
topic.
wait a second. You're talking about sports. You're talking about NBA coming back, and you're like this. Yeah. No, come on, bro. Enjoy it. Sports are back. Hockey's back. NBA's back, and yeah, MLB's a shame, but we'll get into it. We'll get into that because I'm very disappointed on baseball. I have to say.
Yeah, me too. All right, we're going to start with the NBA return plan, what we heard, and it went down starting yesterday, June 3rd, with Adrian Wojnarowski breaking a tweet saying the NBA is inviting the 22 teams from the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. Those teams from the Western Conference are the ones that they've added are the Grizzlies, Trailblazers, Pelicans, Kings, Spurs, and the Suns.
Yes.
So, and on the East, they only added the Wizards. This went down pretty quickly. The NBA Board of Governors did agree. It was a 29-1 vote. The one team that did not vote on this was the Portland Trailblazers. What are your thoughts on all of this, Octavio? And what can you make of this too?
Yeah, well, first of all, I don't know why the Portland Trailblazers will not like the propose. I mean, there's no reason for
That's
me.
true.
I mean, I don't get it. I mean, they will be playing either ways. And honestly, CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard belongs to this format. They belong to the playoff. They belong to whatever competitive level the NBA has. Because as of now, well, last year they went to the Western Conference Final. So I mean, they're to this. They should be used to this type of competition. I'm sorry, but thinking about like generally speaking of the format and thinking of the 22 teams, I think it's only fair. Okay, you might as well. I mean, you might argue that in the Eastern Conference there should be more teams, but guess what, man? There are no good teams except for the top 4 or top 6. But if they would have done the last proposal, which was just go from number 1 to 16, the best 16 records, I think like only Miami Heat and Milwaukee Bucks. Well, and maybe I don't know who's number 3.
The Celtics.
Oh, okay. Well, the Celtics and Toronto. Only those 4 teams, they would have made it. I mean, according to the records. So I love it. I think it's gonna be good to see Zion and Ja Morant playing in this competition, especially because these games will matter. These games are going to be important. It's not just another game. And honestly, I think it's fair. And the NBA, I mean, you saw this, Kevin, on Twitter and all the social medias. The NBA, they're genius. They know how to promote every single thing that they do. And they are promoting this really well. Now you can see the logo, Disney logo, with the faces of the NBA players, the commercial spot that they did with the Disney Castle saying that the NBA is coming back. Very timely. I think it's really a perfect time for to let know that the NBA will be back. And do you know what the other thing is? That I love the fact that they're not afraid to compete against football. They're not afraid. They're not afraid of, and they're not afraid of football. They're not afraid of the NFL in terms of like, okay, the preseason will start, so that's gonna be fantastic, honestly. And I hope that the tournament will be really, really, really good. With the quality will be assured, and the parity too. I mean, at the end of the day, these are the best teams this year's, and they deserve to play each other.
Yeah, the best thing is that Adam Silver is one of the most trusted commissioners in the whole league. So they would trust him either way.
Yeah.
Except the Blazers, I guess. But
yeah.
So now vamos a mover al segundo tópico que va a ser de la MLB y el regreso. ¿Qué es tu opinión sobre todo lo que ha pasado, Octavio? Yo no estoy muy contento con lo que ha pasado últimamente. No han negociado lo suficiente. Los jugadores no están contentos. Todo el mundo creo que está en el lado de los jugadores en este caso. ¿Qué es tu opinión sobre todo esto?
Bueno, me parece que la Major League Baseball como liga está quedando muy por detrás, behind de lo que es NBA, NHL, NHL, MLS, por supuesto NFL. Major League Baseball se está dañando, perjudicando a sí misma, porque tú dices, bueno, los jugadores son millonarios, they're rich. Y está bien, y es verdad. Pero tú no vas a aceptar un salary cut de ¿cuánto? De 70, 60%.
Sí, claro.
Y después entonces la propuesta es realizar 50 partidos.
Eso es muy poco.
Es que no entra en la cabeza de nadie. Ok, so vamos a jugar 50 partidos. You get the whole prorated salary. Ok, tienes el salario de prorated, pero de 50 es muy poco lo que estarían ganando los jugadores. No garantizaron las condiciones de salud indicadas de todas como lo han hecho otras ligas. No garantizaron que las pruebas de test por the COVID-19 o por cualquier prueba no fuesen rápidas, lo suficientemente rápidas. Entonces, los peloteros, a pesar de todo esto, in spite of that, dijeron, ok, bueno, vamos a hacerlo, pero no queremos más cortes. We don't want more salary cuts. Entonces, ¿qué haces? ¿Qué quieres que los peloteros al final cedan? Que se quiten el salario, que jueguen de gratis. Yo estoy del lado de los jugadores y siempre lo he estado.
Sí, yo también.
Porque considero que Major League Baseball tiene muchas herramientas para sacar dinero y para ganar dinero de todo esto. Una de ellas, Kevin, el mismo streaming. Si tú quieres recuperar, si Major League Baseball dice, no vamos a ganar dinero porque no está yendo la gente al estadio. Ok, bueno, agarra
MLB show, MLB at Bat y todo eso.
MLB at Bat, MLB Network, MLB the show, well, not the show, but anyways, but any platforms. Entonces, tú cobras un mínimo de suscripciones a lo que vayas a hacer por streaming de partidos y la gente lo va a pagar. People will pay to see baseball again. And that's the thing. Es lo que a mí me causa un shock, porque hay muchas maneras para que MLB pueda hacer dinero sin perjudicar tanto a los jugadores que al final son los que salen al terreno. Ellos son los que juegan.
No, claro. La primera idea que tenía me gustaba, pero para mí siempre ha sido muy poco juego. 120 juegos por lo menos lo que me hubiera gustado a mí para la situación esta.
Ahora, en Miami, ¿cuál es el pensar y el sentir de la gente? What does people in Miami think about this decision? Because honestly, Kevin, English-speaking people, they're not even caring about baseball. And that's worse. That's the worst thing for MLB that could ever happen. Because when they see NBA coming back, when they see NHL coming back, even the NHL, which is not as popular as it used to be, at least not in the US, but in Canada is number one. So let's just give it real. When they see football, soccer coming back, and then when they see football, NFL, starting the season, the preseason, you think baseball is, if they don't start the season, si no tienen temporada, la gente que no le importa, no les va a importar después. No. Y Major League Baseball va a pasar a un cuarto plano. Entonces, yo no sé, puede ser que en Miami, como hay más fanaticada latina, hispana, puede ser que estén más pegados y más preocupados por el béisbol. Pero en el norte del país realmente no es. Más bien sucede que hay mucho rechazo de este público, de la generación joven, de tu edad, los estudiantes en college. De verdad que ya no le están prestando mucha atención al béisbol.
Sí, porque hay básquet. Están viendo que esto todo está regresando y se van a poner para básquet completo.
Sí. Y lo saben hacer.
Sí, claro. Now we're going to move on to the third topic, which will be, will the MLB have a season, and what have you been hearing about all of this? And how the owners, what are their sides, pretty much?
Well, definitely they're opposite sides. I think that's pretty obvious, that they don't like, both of them, Jeff Passan said it the other day, both of them are being stubborn. And they're stuck on being stubborn. That's the thing. Stubbornness is all over the place. I understand each position, even though I agree with the players. I understand the position of MLB because as an, I don't know, billionaire industry, you still want to make your billions. You still want to secure your money. And okay, I think it's fair from their standpoint, not from the fans' standpoint, of course, because I mean, fans, they want to see the sport, even though, like I said before, I don't think now is the number one preference all over the country. Yeah. I don't think it is. But still, there are still, people who wants to see baseball, and that's fine. So what I've been hearing, and this is, I can assure you, like, not just hearing. Every time I hear a rumor, I have to go to the source and then, make some contacts and send some emails. And what I've been getting is that they're really, really, really far apart. They really are apart. It's not, they're pessimistic. They're not thinking the best right now. They don't think they should, they see a season happening, but not as sure as they were, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. And what they're thinking is that, well, there was a soft, according to John Hyman and, well, many other insiders, there was a soft deadline, which is basically they would have to agree or come to an agreement before June 10th in order for the season to start on July 4th.
I don't think that's happening before June 10th.
Well, and now, in my opinion, we're really far away from it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I honestly, this week was supposed to be crucial, and I think it has been, but not in the way we wanted it. I think we were expecting some kind of announcement, some kind of progress, but no, we just saw everything falling apart, and that's the truth. That's the truth. You know me, Kevin. You know that I'm a baseball guy. I mean, you can just just move here.
Yeah.
You have all of it. I'm waiting for baseball. I want baseball, but I cannot be blind. I cannot be blind. Or like we say in Spanish, tapar el sol con la mano. We can't do that. And honestly, there's no point, because if you're stuck in the idea that baseball is going to happen because back when the World War II happened, there was still baseball, because guess what, there were other times and there was no NFL, or at least not the NFL that we have now. The NBA was just a baby, and it was baseball, America's pastime. But you said it before, now they have basketball. Soccer is a sport that is, it's growing in a super, super fast, really fast pace. And not just the MLS, Kevin, not just the Major League Soccer. It's everything. It's the influence of the European soccer in our country, because that's what's happening. And you can tell in Miami, let's just talk about Miami. You and I know the city like the palm of our hands.
Yeah.
You know that in Miami, when you talk about European soccer, you see a lot of people going to bars watching the games.
Yeah,
Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United, Bayern Munich. And that is happening in the country.
Yeah.
So my point is that MLB, it's way behind the NFL. It's way behind the NBA. And this new wave, this new fever for soccer, it's MLB's worst enemy. And they're not doing anything to fight.
Yeah, I don't understand that the NBA and the NHL and all these other leagues but the MLB are starting their seasons. But what's holding the MLB back? It must be the contracts.
The money. It's all about money. That's the thing. And you might, people will tell you, well, you know what? NHL and NBA, they were playing their season, so they don't have to deal with the fact that they're not losing as much money of the NBA, because the NBA was, this regular season of the NBA was almost over. Same thing with the NHL, and that's a point. That's fine. But the thing is that as an industry, as a company, MLB is bigger, and it's bigger than whatever obstacle they want to bring right now. I see it like that. Can you honestly tell me that all these honors? Can you tell me that Derek Jeter or Hall Steinbrenner from the Yankees, they don't have the money, they don't have the power to make this happen? Come on. It's just a stubbornness. That's the way it is.
And something interesting that Alfred said from his live was, if they're not going to come back from this if they don't make the decision quick, because little by little the MLB is getting less known, and it's turning into one of the least known sports in the world.
Oh yeah. Thank you for mentioning that, because that's the truth. If you got to go back to Cuba or Puerto Rico, Venezuela, and Dominican Republic, and that would be it. Major League Baseball was, they were given, I don't want to say that they were doing some advance, because to be honest with you, I think Major League Baseball has been stuck for the last 10 years. They don't promote the stars. The best player in the game is Mike Trout, and honestly, almost anybody outside America, nobody knows him outside America.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a shame. I mean, if you compare, Mike Trout is LeBron James, Mike Trout is Messi, Mike Trout is Cristiano Ronaldo, because he dominates his sport the same way that these guys do it in the other sports. But MLB doesn't promote Mike Trout, and that's a fact. That's a reality. And so at the end of the day, I agree, and I told Alfred when we were doing the live, it was I don't think the MLB can come back from this if there's no season happening at the end. Yeah, I don't think that they will ever be able to come back because, and Alfred and I talked about that when we were we were comparing the situation to back in 1998 after there was this time. Well, there were many complications. There was a strike in 1994, and then you have the Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa's. I mean, that was an incredible and unforgettable year competing for the home run title, and that was historic. But now MLB, they don't have this kind of personalities. They don't have this type of characters. They don't, because as I said before, you would put what? Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Javi Baez, and I mean they could do something, but it's not gonna be as big as it was in the 90s or early 2000s, and that's a shame. That's a shame because it's a monster that has been created by the same people that right now don't want to play. Because at the end of the day, they don't want to play.
No, and to me, the biggest factor is that the players and the owners have to come to an agreement at some point. Because you just the players want to get paid, but the owners want to pay half the salary. So yeah. And before we continue, please, all of you, like and subscribe. Whoever's watching, comment down below what you think about this, and leave a like. Share this to all your friends, family, so we could keep doing stuff like this on the channel. Yeah. Now we're gonna move on to the final thing. What do you think the MLB should do to bring back the season?
Well, the obvious answer would be they need to come to an agreement, right? And thank you, Carlos. They need to come to an agreement, but honestly, Kevin, the honest question that I can give you right now is I don't know. And the reason why
I don't think anyone knows.
I don't know is because it's very unpredictable. At the end of the day, I think the union with Tony Clark, they're very powerful, but they have to protect their own interests. That's how it is. That's how it works. Yeah. They have interest as the same way the MLB has it. They will have to come out with an agreement. I don't know what would be the key factor here, because the worst part is they're not listening to the voice of the fans. They're not caring about the fans. They don't. They're if you look at Twitter, what do you see? You see excuses. Hey, well, we'll try, blah 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 blah. Hey, yeah, we'll try. Thank you, Luis. Blah blah blah. And all they are presenting is excuses. And for my Spanish speaker people, I will tell you this in Spanish as well. Si usted va a social network, a redes sociales, usted va a encontrar un listado de excusas por las cuales no han llegado a un acuerdo, pero no va a encontrar ni una voluntad, ni una intención de querer jugar, porque no existe. Scherzer justificó su postura.
Sí.
What was the other player who was really vocal? Oh my gosh. Oh my God! He said that they're not. They were not willing to take more cuts. I think it was. Well, anyways,
Blake Snell maybe.
Yeah.
Yo sé que Blake Snell dijo algo.
No. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Blake Snell said that I'm not gonna play if I don't get my money. Yeah, that was exact. So you have Blake Snell. So you have Max Scherzer, two of the most prominent pitchers nowadays. Both of them Cy Young Award winners. And so ask your friends, Kevin, the same age as you. Do they want to see baseball? I will say no. I
think they'll say no.
They'll say no.
They don't know much about baseball. They're not as into it as other people.
Thank you.
Ellos no están interesados. Yo creo que los latinos es lo que son más interesados en la pelota.
Sí, exacto. Pero MLB no está prestando atención a los latinos y no está prestando atención a nadie. A nadie. Latinos, hispanos, estadounidenses, Americans, Asians, they're not caring about it. They're not caring about any of those people, and they just don't care what's going to happen, to be honest with you. And that's the worst part. Like they could, I mean, the season might not even happening, and they will think that it's okay not to have a season. Guess what, MLB? It's not okay. It's not okay at all. No está bien porque necesita las grandes ligas salvar. I saw this on Twitter. It was from Jason Stark. He said, baseball, they not only need to save their season, they need to save their sport.
That's true. That's 100% true.
100%, which is for my Spanish-speaking people. Ellos no necesitan salvar la temporada, necesitan salvar el deporte. Porque el béisbol está en free fall, caída libre.
Literalmente, está bajando poco a poco, pero no poco a poco, muy rápido.
Muy rápido. Kevin, before we go, quiero traer, I wanted to just bring something else to the table. You're more than equipped and prepared to just talk about this. And my question is about this. ¿Por qué? I'm asking in Spanish, and we can do it in Spanish, English as well, because that's the beauty of this. That's the beauty. I love it. I love it. ¿Por qué tú crees? Why do you think deportes como NBA, NFL, y el football, soccer, why do you think these sports like in the or leagues like NBA, MLS, and the NFL pasan los años y son todavía más grandes en popularidad? I mean, even with the years pass, and these leagues are getting stronger and stronger. Why is that?
Para mí, número uno es la confianza que tienen entre todos. Porque están cambiando juegos día a día. They're changing the game day by day. And people like that. They're trying to promote their sport everywhere internationally.
That's the key.
You see where the NBA goes. They go to Mexico. They go to China. They go to all these places.
Yeah.
And it just keeps growing little by little. And they're getting international love from everybody. And that's great from all sides. That's really good.
Okay, let me ask you, are you a baseball fan?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Armando, are you a baseball fan? I'm asking people who's there. I saw Armando. I saw another guy who said, I think his name was Trey. And
right here.
Yeah, Trey. Are you a baseball fan? Are you guys baseball fan? I mean, do you guys play baseball when you go to the street? Surrod, ¿tú juegas béisbol? Ustedes juegan béisbol cuando salen a la calle. When you guys get together with your friends, and I'm talking about, because I used to be like you guys. I used to go outside the street. I'm 36, but up until I was like in my 20s and went to college, I used to go outside and play baseball all the time. And guess what? I used to pretend that I was Carl Ripken Jr., and then I used to pretend that I was Ken Griffey Jr. Those were the type of people that I wanted to be when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you see basketball jerseys, and you see football jerseys, and you see soccer jerseys. People talk, kids like your age, they said, I want to be LeBron, I want to be Giannis, I want to be Odell Beckham Jr., I want to be, I don't know, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi. Man, and baseball, I mean, you and I can see that, and Major League Baseball can't? Come on. That's just, I mean, it blows my mind that they don't realize that they're losing ground, and it's right in front of their eyes, right there.
They just have one simple thing. I think that first plan they had with the taxi players, everything was perfect except that the 82 games, because that would cut their salary in half. To me, they should play at least 120 games at most.
Yeah. You know what I think also? I think they're afraid to compete with NFL.
With the other leagues, right?
Yeah, I think they're afraid to compete with them. But thank you, because now I remember another thing I want to say. It's so bizarre because one of the reasons, instead of being honest with that, one of the other reasons that I read, according to many sources, was that MLB was not afraid to compete, but they were afraid of a second wave of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So you're using that excuse. Okay, let me ask you this, Kevin. Do we have a vaccine for coronavirus right now?
No, not that we know.
Exactly. So how come you're okay to play now without the vaccine, without any antidote? No.
But not later.
but you're worried about a second wave.
And you see these other leagues like the NBA, all these other leagues that have started. Pretty much all the leagues have started but baseball in America.
And at least there's a plan. Hay un plan de trabajo. Tú sabes que hay algo a futuro.
Pero exámenes todos los días, todo.
Claro, pero tú vas a Twitter o a Facebook o a Instagram y tú vas a esas cuentas. Tú vas a la cuenta de Instagram de NBA y tú ves un plan. Tú vas a la cuenta de NHL y ves un plan. Los Browns, the Browns, you know me, I work for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah,
you know, they're going to be opening their facility June 8th, which is...
all coaches are allowed to go in the facility.
Yeah. When is June 8th? Sunday? Well, anyways. No, next Monday.
Next Monday.
Exactly. So they're opening their facilities for voluntary training work.
NBA facilities have already done it too.
That's fantastic. You saw the other day, what is the guy from Miami that he covers the Hurricanes? He works for the Miami Herald. I forgot his name. I used to know him. Anyways, well, he was reporting that the players around the country are coming for these voluntary trainings because the UM will be opening their facilities too.
Yeah,
perfect.
They have to bring on all the players.
Fantastic.
They have to get them rolling. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm getting text. Yes. Yeah, we're in. Okay, no, just getting text because I was actually making a consultation right now, and I love that this is live. I'm just getting texted from a guy, a friend of mine who works for the Yankees, saying that all the players, and this is me reading right now, saying that all the players are in favor to play the season, but they have to respect the majority. So I'm wondering, who's the majority here?
The owners, probably.
No, okay, but let's.
But mainly the commissioner.
Yeah, no, but let's put this in perspective for a second. Okay, so you're a Yankees. I mean, you play for the Yankees, right? So I'm assuming that you're talking. I mean, and this is a good source. So you're playing for the Yankees. I'm assuming that you're talking about Aaron Judge. You're talking about Gleyber Torres, Gary Sanchez, Garrett Cole. I mean, you're talking about high-profile players because it's the Yankees. Everybody who plays for the Pinstripes, it's really famous. It's a big profile player.
Yeah.
And according to my sources, he's saying that they want to play, but they have to respect the majority. Okay, so who can be bigger than these guys?
That's true.
It's true. Like, all right. Okay, so, ¿cómo puede ser que el equipo más poderoso del béisbol quiera jugar, pero dicen entonces que quieren respetar la mayoría? ¿Cuál es la mayoría? ¿Quién es la mayoría?
No hay mayoría.
Y you know what happens here? Thank you, Javier, mi hermano. You know what happens here?
¿Qué?
That nobody knows exactly what's going on between MLB and the union. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows because they're not sharing. They're not trying to bring the fans. No están tratando de enterar los fanáticos para que le den consejos. Que no los cojan, pero que por lo menos le den un chance a los fanáticos.
Now,
give the fans a chance.
Exactly. No, I'm sorry to interrupt. There's a word that is really key. There's a really key word in this business and in life, and it's transparency. They're not being transparent when it comes to this, and they should be. They should be. They cannot be censoring opinions. They cannot be censoring people asking questions. You know what? If I was the commissioner, if I was Rob Manfred, I would just go on public and say, you know what?
Thank you, Eduardo.
Oh, thank you, Eduardo. You know what? I'm going to address each point. You know what? I'm going to do a Facebook Live because let's be honest, Facebook is a social media for other people, which, by the way, that is the main audience of baseball right now.
That's true.
Okay. So if I were the commissioner, I'm sorry, I would go to Facebook and do a Facebook Live, and you know what? Ask me your questions, and I will be answering.
That's how the best ideas came up.
Kevin, you need to promote your game. You need to be more transparent about what you're doing. I'm not saying revealing sources. I'm not saying revealing. I mean,
just answer questions.
Exactly. Just simple questions. And when they ask you, Commissioner, why we still don't know, why we can't have a better idea about a possible season. Well, Commissioner, you got to be honest and say whatever is happening.
On your mind, yeah.
And whatever is happening. Just, I mean, filter. I would agree that you have to filter the information. You cannot reveal everything. You have to put like a measurement. It's fine. But hey, you gotta talk about it. I love the way the NBA addressed the situation with with George Floyd and all the racial issues that has been happening in the country.
Yeah.
MLS did the same. NHL did the same. You know how many days happened before baseball said something? 2 full days. Two full days. That's too long, man.
It's too long. Yeah, I agree with
Too
you.
long. It's too freaking long, and you don't have the luxury to afford that. I mean, you can't. You just can't. And
it has to be right away.
Yeah, Kevin, because you know what? Whatever it is that you're doing as a Major League Baseball from a institutional standpoint, you're not doing it right. Because guess what? All these leagues are planning to come back. They're reacting to a social issue that is happening right now in your country, in the same country that everybody's living here right now, and they're not saying anything. And look what Eleanor said. She can't wait for the NBA to return. And that's the majority. That's what people is expecting.
And I want to ask you, what's your opinion on what Drew Brees said about this whole situation?
This is what happens when athletes and this is what happens when you're in live TV. That's why I love it. That's why before we went to this, I asked you to say, hey, I think life is better because you can be more honest. This is what happened. That was the real Drew Brees. And I'm sorry. That was the real Drew Brees. That was the real Drew Brees. Drew Brees,
I think so.
Yeah, he spoke from his heart. Am I allowed to judge him? No, and nobody is. But that is the real Drew Brees. The apologetical Drew Brees.
Not the real one.
Exactly. The next day, Drew Brees, that's a product. You see the picture? 2 hands like this. Come on, bro. Come on. I mean, you might as well just went to Google Images and downloaded an image. And, oh yeah, come on. You're not. The real you is the one that yesterday when he's on live TV said what he said.
Yeah.
Hey, at the end of the day, and what he said was really strong. I mean, he said that he will not respect anybody who disrespects the flag, because he thought about his grandparents, and he's perfectly right. And like, I mean, whatever the point is,
whatever he wants to say, he could say it.
Exactly, he can say it exactly. But the next day, Drew Brees, is what I do have a problem.
It's a lie.
It's a lie. It's fabricated.
He just says it so people don't hate on him.
Because it happened. You see, New Orleans, they were screaming.
They were screaming.
Yeah, they were screaming. They were saying bad words, and they were reacting with a strong peace of mind, saying
and people told him to retire after this and everything.
That's the thing. I mean, that's the thing, because you're a professional player, and that's the other thing. And let me bring this to the table so people can and comment on this. And I know that we took longer than we were expecting, but I mean, I love this. I mean, and I think the conversation.
I'm really enjoying it. So,
so the conversation has been going to there. Let me ask you this: who's the best NBA player of all times?
To me, Michael Jordan.
Perfect. Is it White?
No.
Who's the greatest baseball player of all of the time, or maybe of recent era?
You could say Mike Trout. That you could discuss because it's various. Mike Trout.
Okay. But if I throw the name of Ken Griffey Jr. or Derek Jeter or Mariano Rivera or Barry Bonds, would you agree?
I would agree. Yeah.
One of them, right?
Yeah, at least one of them. Probably Barry Bonds. Probably Barry.
Okay, Barry Bonds, 7 times MVP. 7 times MVP.
Yeah.
Okay, another African American player.
Yeah.
And then you could argue that Jim Brown is probably the greatest football player ever.
African American.
You could argue. I'm not saying that he is, but it's in a conversation, because I know what Tom Brady did, and I know that you don't like Tom Brady because you're a Dolphins fan. But
nope.
I know that.
I don't mess with Tom Brady.
I know that.
I don't like him.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm happy he left the division. That's all I can say.
Well, now you guys have a chance. Although I think the Dolphins will be like this team that are going to shock some of them.
I think they're going to shock the league, the world.
Yeah. They have it, and that'll be great for football, because at the
they
end
improved the defense through free agency,
and
they improved the offense through the draft.
Yeah, and they were very smart. They were planning to it. Everybody was like killing the Dolphins because they were tanking. Hey, it's a new NFL. It's a new league. It's a new system. So whatever.
Yeah.
But you could argue that Jim Brown is in the list too. And then, of course, you're not going to have that conversation in hockey, because hockey has been always, predominantly white. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
but you could argue that in soccer, the greatest player of all time is another African, black player like Pelé. But soccer is a worldwide sport, so it's more international, so it's different. But my point with all of this, with all these questions,
Thank you, Carlos Manuel.
thank you, Carlos. My point with all these questions is that sports are not measured by the color of the skin, but by your talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think, in the case of Drew Brees, you can talk about respecting the flag by disrespecting a large community that felt and still feel identified with the message that Colin Kaepernick was trying to send.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. It's a problem that we're facing right now. I'm sorry because that's the thing. I mean, maybe black people will say, well, you know what, guys, it's been like that. And I'm sorry, white people will say, well, it's been like that. Now we have to change. Well, it starts with all of us. And Drew Brees yesterday, I mean, not yesterday, I'm sorry, today, when the apology was the same day.
Thank you, Gabriela. No, it was the day after.
It was today, this morning, right?
It was today, this morning. Yes.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay. So the second day, Drew Brees, is what I do have a problem, because the fact that you don't look sincere, that you don't look honest, that's part of the problem with all these racial issues. That the lack of honesty, the lack of knowledge.
The responses from the players were horrendous. I saw them, and they offended him like that.
Kevin,
just respect his decision, to be honest.
Do you realize the size of the platform that a professional athlete has to address the situations?
Yeah, huge.
It is huge, man. You're a role model, even though Charles Barkley said that he wasn't a role model, he was an athlete. Well, anyway, that was Charles
Barkley.
But it is like that. It is like that, and I think Drew Brees should. I mean, he said that he took and he accepted full responsibility. Well, I don't think your Instagram post, Drew, shows that you were accepting full responsibility. It seems to me that you want to apologize, and guess what, man? It wasn't the right choice of words.
And what was your thought on what Denver Broncos head coach Vic Fangio said, that there's no discrimination in the NFL or racism?
I thought when I heard that, well, when I read it, because I didn't hear it, I just read it.
Yeah, I read it too. Yeah.
And when I read that, I thought it came from somebody in the commissioner office, because it sounded like too political.
At the time, I felt that too. Yeah.
Yeah, because it sounded like too political. Like, man, this has to be from some executive or some. It cannot be from a person from the game, a person who goes to the Great Iron, a person. I'm sorry, from the sideline, a person who's in contact with players. Cannot be like that. Because
and then we see it's him.
And then when I saw it was the coach, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? There's no discrimination. Okay, why Colin Kaepernick is without a job? Why?
Well, we all know why. The discrimination, the flag, the kneeling and stuff.
Why Colin Kaepernick? And believe me, man, I love this country. Look at me. I'm wearing. I mean, I'm all as patriotic as it comes. I mean, I love it. I love this nation. But hey, we cannot, like I said, and I always say it in Spanish because I think it makes more sense. You cannot cover the sun with your hand, which is no puedes tapar el sol con la mano. It is a reality. Of course, there is a discrimination in NFL. Of course, there is. Why do we have, 2, 3 GMs that are black? 2 or 3? I don't know. I know that the Browns have one because they just hired.
The Dolphins too.
Yeah. Okay. So how many head coaches? Flores? Well, Flores.
We have Flores.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's it.
And come on, bro. Come in. No discrimination. Who do you want to? I mean, who do you want to fool?
That's true.
But that's the thing, man.
I want to ask you, what did the NHL agree to in the MLS to bring back the sport? Because I really haven't heard on that, and for the viewers to know too.
Oh, okay, perfect. So the NHL, I mean, they came out with a genius proposal, which is the best 24 teams. They will coming back. They will be coming back to play significant games. So this is how it works. Instead of going straight to the postseason, they will go to a round-in format, which is divided in 2 ways.
Which is the best of 5, right?
No, yeah, for the teams who finished from the 5th place to the number 12 spot. From those teams, they'll be playing series to the best of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So the top 4 in each conference, they'll be playing a format like it's called round robin, where they play against each other for two laps, 2 circles, and that will determine the best seed from the playoffs. For example, so the top 4 in the East: Boston, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia Flyers, and Washington Capitals. Those 4 teams will be playing each other to see who will be the seed number 1 for the playoff. The rest of their teams from 5 to 12, they'll be playing series best of 5. Which, by the way, the Panthers are there. They'll be playing the New York Islanders.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Panthers are there, man. Are in the mix, and they have a good team. Let me tell you. And this series, they will have the chance to take revenge of what happened in 2016 when the Islanders eliminated.
Yeah, I saw your tweet about that.
Dude,
it was one of the best playoff series.
It was one of the best. I was there and I saw, man, the big players crying. It was very, very emotional. It was a heck of a series. New York is a really, really good town for sports, and they were feeling it.
Yeah,
the hockey thing was a thing, really. Even though New York is about the Yankees and the Giants and the Knicks are a joke. But
that's true. I was gonna ask you, what do you think about the Knicks?
No, it's a joke. It's a big joke.
It's a joke. Yeah,
I'm so glad that they're not in this consideration, and they're not gonna be playing the.
Yeah, and I was gonna touch. Yeah,
they're not gonna play. They're not gonna be playing here.
I was actually gonna name the teams that aren't gonna play, which are the Hornets, the Bulls, the Knicks, Pistons, Hawks, Timberwolves, Cavaliers, and Warriors.
Which makes sense, and people were thinking, well, how come the Warriors are not playing, dude?
They're the worst team in the league.
Klay Thompson is not gonna come back for this.
Curry.
And Curry's gonna. Don't forget about them. Next year, they're gonna be a powerhouse again. And believe me, if what I'm hearing finally happens, which I pray to God that I don't want to see that, because apparently there's been conversations between Steve Kerr and Jerry West with Giannis camp. I will hate if that happens.
If that happens, that's it.
I mean, why? Why you can just?
Why would you want to go back? Yeah,
exactly. Why can't you just stay with your core players and try to compete, man? I mean, what? But yeah. So I wanted to come back to what we were talking.
Yeah,
about.
The NHL.
So basically, so the teams from 5th to 12th spot, they'll be playing a series best of 5, and whoever wins the series will go to the first round of the playoffs. So what I love about that proposal and that format is the fact that all these teams are going to be playing significant games since the get-go, like right now. And the MLS, on the other hand, it'll be a tournament with the 26 teams. In this tournament, basically, what they're going to do is get all the teams in one spot, which is Orlando. They'll be playing in Orlando. The same thing with the NBA.
Thank you, Juliet.
Yeah, thank you, Juliet. And what happened is that they'll be playing each other, right? The 2016. And the points, soccer, it's about points. If you win, you get 3 points. So all the points that they get in this tournament will count for the regular season that the MLS is expecting to have back around September or October. So they will sum all these points to that regular season that they're expecting to resume at some point in September or October. And it's a way for them to get all the teams involved, to get all the players in back to soccer shape, and to have activities. And believe it or not, Kevin, the audience of Major League Soccer is growing. It's really growing at fast.
I started following it now since the Inter Miami.
Yeah, and that's the reality. Miami is I don't want to say soccer town, but it's a very international town.
It's growing as a soccer.
And it's growing at the end of the day. So let me finish by this, Kevin, because we've been talking about pretty much everything here. So I want to go to the history here, in this history topic.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Muchas gracias, Elizabeth. I'm going to ask you, for you, who are your favorite players of all the sports?
Thank you, Stephanie.
Gracias, Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie. So I'm going to ask you, Kevin Burrell, what is your favorite baseball player of all time?
All time. I mean, I'm going to go, as of right now, Mike Trout. He's
No.
All time.
I mean, you fell in love with baseball because of who? Come on.
That's a good question. But my favorite player
Yeah.
was Jose Fernandez.
Oh man.
And it's a tragedy what happened to him. Wait, Octavio, the volume. I can't hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay. I was just saying that really hit me when you said Jose Fernandez. Man, that was a tragedy, and that's good, man. Good choice.
He lit the world. He lit the Miami city of Miami.
Yeah, the city of Miami. And in a time where they were talking about the big three, the only reason why people were talking about baseball was because of Jose Fernandez. Yeah, that was it. All right. So who's your favorite football player of all time?
Let's go with Dan Marino.
Nice. You see? That's
we're getting a comment saying something is happening with the audio. I quite don't know, no sé.
I don't know.
Ya está bien el audio todo el mundo.
Por favor, déjenos saber. Let us know if the audio is not working. I can hear it.
I can hear it perfectly, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll keep going for now.
Well, we'll keep going. Okay, so you're saying Dan Marino?
Yeah, I mean,
good choice.
Probably the best quarterback the Dolphins have had of all time.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he didn't win the Super Bowl, but come on, bro. Hey, too many factors have to go in. Yeah,
Carlos says yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's working now. They're saying it's working. They're saying it's working, the audio.
Oh, okay. Okay, but Isabel said that it was old. So it's old what? Like Dan Marino? Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. Dan Marino is, he's right there. Greatness of sport. Okay. Who's your favorite basketball player of all time? Not the best, your favorite.
Easy, Dwayne Wade.
That was easy. That was easy.
Wade County, 305.
Wade County, 305. Do you think that D-Wade was underrated at some point of his career?
100%.
You're right. It seems to me that he was. I remember the first year LeBron left, like 2014.
He carried that team.
Yeah, but he wasn't even included on the All-Star roster. Remember that? He didn't go to. He wasn't.
I would have to go back, but I think I remember.
He wasn't picked.
Oh, he wasn't picked at all. Oh,
yeah, it was like, what the heck just happened? I mean, D-Wade was.
I remember the last year right before he went to Chicago.
Uh-huh.
That's when he carried that team all the way to that Eastern Conference second round.
Yeah, they lost again. It was
Toronto in 7.
Toronto in 7, yeah.
I mean, they did bring in Whiteside. They brought in Dragic around those years, which was great because those guys were in their primes almost.
Man, if they would have Chris Bosh in that team,
I think they would have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
They would have faced LeBron in the Eastern Conference Final. And
if they won, imagine that.
Well, and you know what happened when D-Wade and LeBron. I mean, I'm a LeBron guy. He's my favorite player. But you know what happened when D-Wade and LeBron faced each other. So, it was really, really, really.
That's good.
It was a really good matchup. All right. Okay. Do you have any soccer player that you admire? I mean, I know that probably you can say no, it's fine.
No, not as of right now. I still have to get more into soccer and the hockey, of course.
All right. Okay. What's the other sport that you follow besides NBA or basketball, football, and baseball?
I'm gonna probably start doing the NHL a lot more and MLS.
Believe me, bro, you're not going to regret. You're not going to regret following the NHL. The NHL.
I always tell myself I should start following the NHL with the Panthers.
Do it.
And when I start doing it, I forgot. But I'm gonna do it. Do it,
and take your family. Take the family to the hockey game, man. Don't worry. I mean, that's a sure bet. You're going to love it, and it's for everybody. People think that hockey is just like an American, like really conservative sport. Dude, there are players from Germany to Colombia. Well, Colombian descendant from Asia. It's really international. It's a really, really international sport with a lot of contributions from around the world. So, yeah, es un consejo, Kevin. Trata el hockey, la NHL es muy internacional y te recomiendo. Es un deporte fascinante. Es una liga muy, muy fascinante. Como fascinante ha sido esta conversación. Ha sido muy buena. Me ha gustado mucho.
No, otra vez, gracias por estar aquí. Thank you for being here, of course. Hope to do this many more times.
Yeah.
And thank you guys all for watching. For all 14 people, everyone who commented, thank you. Gracias otra vez. Let's just know this right now. Sports make people happy, and if you want to come be happy, stay here, stay watching, watch all the videos. And I'll leave Octavio's links in the YouTube video when it gets reposted. So otra vez, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.